tumbling down in the city that we love. Great clouds roll over the hills, bringing darkness from above. But if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like nothing changed at all? And if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like you've been here before? How am I gonna be an optimist about this? How am I gonna be an optimist about this? Oh, where do we begin? The rubble or our sins? Oh, where do we begin? The rubble or our sins? And the walls kept tumbling down in the city that we love. Great clouds roll over the hills, bringing darkness from above. But if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like nothing changed at all? And if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like you've been here before? Oh, how am I gonna be an optimist about this? How am I gonna be an optimist about this? If you close your eyes, does it almost feel like nothing changed at all?
Baby, now I got the flow.
I'm about to pull out his wishful curtains, and I've been waiting so long. Now I gotta resurface. Hey, we about to toast up, all the bread and we burn it.
Come on.
Cause I've been feeling cool time. I've been feeling cool time. We turn up. We turn up.
Well, I try to tell you soon, but I guess you didn't know. As I said, the story goes.
I've been feeling cool time.
Once again, cause I know it from the start. Baby, when you broke my heart, that I had to come again and show you that I'd win. You love me. All those times I said that I loved you. You love me. Yes, I tried. Yes, I tried. You love me. Even though you know I died for you. You love me. Yes, I cried. Yes, I cried. Let's turn up the band. Come on. Let's turn up the band. Oh my God. Here I
I'm about to pull out his wishful curtains, and I've been waiting so long. Now I gotta resurface. Here we gotta toast up, all the bread and we burn it. Cause I've been feeling cool time. I've been feeling cool time.
don't you know?
Josh, where you at, brother?
Yo, right here. Sorry, were you gonna say anything up front or no?
Nah, man. I'm turning the host code over to you. It's yours.
All right, cool. 803. I guess we'll get it rolling. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? Good?
Good.
Good. Good.
Good, brother. Good.
Awesome. Well, good to be with you guys. There's some new faces on here. If you guys don't know, my name's Josh Harris. I've been with TLG for, I guess it's like 7.5, going on 8 years, something crazy like that. So I've been here for a minute. I've learned from the best of the best. Aaron was a huge mentor for me when I got started, but I've learned from a lot of the top producers that you guys work with: Nelson Alvarez, Jared Lightford, Lake, Savage Bellavance, and many others. So it's cool to be on the call. Aaron used to say when I got started, you need the call until the calls need you. So you guys are doing the right thing, plugging in, getting some training, trying to get to the next level. And eventually, if you become a student of the business and you get good, then you'll be the one, hosting these calls and training others, which makes it fun. So, but tonight I want to cover a couple of products that you can use in your arsenal. We're in a niche within life insurance called simplified issue, right? So we do products where people get covered very quickly, if not immediately, and you get paid very quickly. So it's great for the client. It's great for you. We don't do life insurance where you have to do, where they have to do blood work or a paramedic exam where they send out a nurse and draw blood. Every once in a while, you might get a niche scenario, but 98% of what we do is simplified issue, which is great, right? Fast coverage, people get covered quick. They don't have to get thrown through the rigmarole of fully underwritten. Fully underwritten, if you look at the statistics, it's a lot less placement. Basically insurance carriers that do fully underwritten, they're looking for reasons to either decline the client or to eliminate any risk to them. So they're going to find anything and everything in their blood work or in their doctor's records to try to either rate them higher or decline them or select very healthy individuals, which is fine. And under certain scenarios, you can get a competitive rate doing that. But most of the clients that we talk to don't want their information to be put at risk or to be put at jeopardy, because anything they find goes on to what's called an MIB report. And now that information is now accessible to all the insurance carriers. Anytime they try to get insurance, they're going to see things that popped up. So, I've had a handful of times where clients swore up and down they were completely healthy, no issues. I want to do the blood work. I want to get that best rate possible. Let me do it. And I did it for them. I knew they were going to do it, whether it was me or not. So I figured, okay, I'll be the one to do it. And almost always something popped up that was unexpected, that they didn't even know. I had one guy played pickleball 4 times a week. Blood work always comes back immaculate. Decided to go fully underwritten. And then they found, I wish I could remember what it was called, but it was some level that it's an indicator for heart problems typically. And his doctor had never discovered it or seen it. But according to the insurance carrier, they wouldn't even give him a table rating. So they wouldn't even give him a table rating. They thought that according to them, it looked really bad. So, and this is a guy who thinks he's healthy. Doctor tells him he's healthy, plays pickleball. So you just never know. That being said, there's a certain segment of the time, a small segment of the time, to where you'll have a client that is very, very healthy and they're shopping around. They're already talking to other agents. You might not be the first one on the scene. They might have made up in their mind that even after they talk to you, and no matter how great you do, they're going to talk to multiple people. And so you have to find a way to be competitive with those individuals. So I'm starting this out by saying, hey, there's a genius to the simplified issue and underwriting, and there's a reason why 98% of what I do is that. But then I also know there are times where you come across a client where you have to be competitive, and we do have a couple of options in our tool belt to outcompete competition that's out there. And so I want to kind of show you guys the niche scenarios where you can utilize a couple different products that I want to show you guys. Now, if you're a newer agent, which it looks like some of you are, rely on your upline to fill in the gaps for you as far as product placement, what products to select for your clients. Don't feel like you have to know everything up front. We tell you that, but it's absolutely true. You can make money and you can earn while you learn. Aaron told me that when I got started. He said, hey, Josh, you don't have to know everything. Just get out there, find some clients that need your help, make a good connection, build some good rapport, and ask us questions along the way, and we can fill in those gaps for you as far as your knowledge gaps on what products you have and what you have to offer. So that being said, when you start out with a few different carriers. I can't remember what the first ones are that you start out with. It's kind of fluctuated over time, depending on what carriers make the most sense for new agents. But the reason we do that, we start you out with like 4 carriers. And then once you've proven that we have somebody that's communicating, that's working, that's worth our time, and that's actually going to plug in and do this thing, then we can start adding those other carriers over time so that you have a full arsenal and full capability to help clients out there. But we've got people that come on board, they say they're going to do something and then they never do. So we don't contract you with all the carriers up front. And there's a reason for that, because it looks bad on us with the carriers if we're contracting people and they're not following through on their end of the bargain. So that's why we do that. But once you're ready, and your upline will know when this point is, make sure you guys apply for a company called American Amicable. That contracting is done through a different link, not through SureLC. And your upline will know when you're ready for that carrier, but you can ask them. But I want to talk about 2 products real quickly with American Amicable once you have them that can be competitive under certain scenarios. So let me share my screen. Let me pull up the link real quick, and then I'll share my screen. All right. Share screen. Share. All right. You guys can see my screen. If you don't have this carrier yet, that's fine. You don't start out.
Yes, I see it.
Thank you. All right, cool. So it's insuranceapplication.com. Your connection is not private. Why is it doing this? Back to safety. Maybe it's because I'm sharing. There we go. All right. Phone quoter. All right. So this is if you get a client and they're extremely healthy, and I'll just lay out the roadmap. I'm going to show you 2 products with American Amicable that can be competitive for simplified issue for certain ages under certain face amounts. And then I'm going to show you guys a product with Transamerica. And this product with Transamerica, there's simplified issue underwriting, and then there's what's called non-medical accelerated underwriting. And then you have fully underwritten. So if you want to think of it that way, easiest process can be easy, but can also be a little bit more complicated. They can request doctor's records if there's things that pop up or gray areas. And then there's fully underwritten, where they can request doctor's records, and then they also send a nurse out to draw blood. I'm going to show you this accelerated underwriting product that you're going to use a small amount of the time, but when you need to use it, you'll be ready to use it. But first, this is still simplified issue. There's this product called Safe Care Term. And I'm going to show you guys something. I'll also show you, so let's say we've got a 50-year-old. Let's do Alabama male, and we're going to do a 30-year term, and we're going to do $250,000. So let's say you've got a 50-year-old. They tell you they're very healthy. You've asked the medical questions that you've been trained to ask. You ask them if they've been prescribed any medications, and they're like, I don't take any meds. I'm healthy. Even in the past, I go to the doctor regularly. Everything comes back good. I haven't had any bumps in the road, no hospitalizations, nothing. Then what you can do is you can click this preferred box. So like they can't even be taking a blood pressure med. They have to be clean as a whistle. And you find that person, and they're shopping other carriers, right? So, and you're in a competitive scenario where they're talking to other clients. They maybe already have some other quotes, and you have to be competitive. This is one way you can do that. 50-year-old, $250,000, Safe Care Term, and you click generate quote. It's $162 a month. Now let's look at a 50-year-old on Toolkits and see how that compares to our other simplified issue products. So these are decreasing term products, these first 2, so those go down over time. But when you go to level, the next best one is $235. So if you have somebody, now, would I sell this product to somebody that's 50 years old and really clean? Yes, I would, because Foresters is a great company. They've got some member benefits. There's things that are great about that company. I would feel totally confident doing that. I wouldn't feel like I ripped off the client. I'd feel like they were getting a great company, a great product. But if I had to compete and I knew there was other sharks in the water that I was battling, other agents, then here's and they were completely healthy, then I could get a more competitive rate at a cheaper price. You guys see that? Now, I'm not going to go to this isn't my go-to. This is my last resort, right? So like Foresters would be kind of like a go-to, and I would feel good doing that. But if I have to be very competitive because of other agents, or I come across somebody and they already have this product and I want to find something, then here's one option you could choose to do that. Now, if it's not preferred rating, let's just see what that does. 244. So now we're back. I would go Foresters, right? So this only makes sense if they're completely healthy, no blood pressure med, height and weight is good, everything's good, clean bill of health. Another product with American Amicable. So I'll show you guys. I had a 65-year-old, and he just wanted to cover his mortgage for the next 10 years. He knew he wanted 10 years. He didn't want longer coverage. He wanted a cheap term product, and he wanted 10 years of coverage. And I was talking to him, and then he told me I couldn't close it. I can't remember if he told me at the beginning or at the end. He said he wanted to talk to somebody he already knew. Maybe it was an agent that he'd already worked with, or a friend or family that worked with a company called Royal Neighbors. I think it was might have been Knights of Columbus. I can't remember, but it's a competitive carrier that's usually can be pretty competitive. But it was fully underwritten. But this is one of those guys that swore up and down he was very healthy, and so he ended up going with that guy, and he went fully underwritten. But I made notes about it on my. I'll show you. Made notes about it in here. Well, you guys don't need to see my notes. It doesn't matter. But I made notes in there that what had happened, how our conversation went, to follow up with him. So I followed up with him, and he said, "Oh yeah, this much cheaper than what you had showed me," and he went with this other company. Went fully underwritten. They were trying to request doctor's records from the VA. The VA wouldn't release them, or was trying to release them. And I followed up with this guy over a series of weeks. He got so frustrated with the underwriting process, like I warned him, that he ended up saying he kept kind of putting me off. Hey, check back with me in a week. Check back with me in 2 weeks. I'm going to see if this will work out. It never worked out. He got frustrated, and so then I went to Easy Term, or I got him to go, and I'll show you how this is a little bit competitive. 65-year-old, 200,000. Now, Easy Term, these products that are competitive, they will pay you lower commission. Like this one, you're talking about a significant decrease on your commission. So it's another reason, typically when you're helping a client, it has to be good for the client, has to be good for you, and it has to be good for the carrier. So you just have to make sure you realize that you're taking a pay cut, but sometimes if you're trying to be super competitive, then it's worth it. $285 for 200,000 for a 65-year-old for 10 years. Now let's look at toolkits. 65-year-old, 10-year term, $356. So as you can see, it's a lot cheaper here. $285. Underwriting is the same as Home Protector. So if they can get Home Protector on toolkits, they can get this product. And I got him for this price right here. $3,400 annual premium. It's really good for me. I was able to it wasn't as cheap as that fully underwritten product, but I told him, like, bro, I'm going to find out in 3 to 5 days if you're approved. He got approved on this within like 2 days. Even though an inhaler popped up and they asked questions about it, went to underwriting, it was just a temporary thing and they approved it. So 65-year-old, 10-year term. So that's just an example. All right, guys. If you guys have any questions so far, you can ask it in the chat. And Lake, if you see something in the chat that I missed, if you don't mind, just letting me know.
Yeah. Hey, Josh, were you aware of the new Your Term?
So I am aware of it. You want to give us the brief rundown, because I don't know all the facts. Give us the brief rundown on Your Term.
Yeah. So Foresters has 2 term policies. Your Term was traditionally medically underwritten, so we never wrote it, right? Didn't matter. It was not express underwriting. They always required a physical exam. Strong Foundation was non-medical. With Your Term, if you have a healthy client, they now have at the top a non-medical option. So it's a little bit accelerated underwriting, and they did that to be competitive with American Amicable. So
Okay.
you double check that as well. If AmAm's not offered in your state, there's a few states that they don't do business in. You can check your term. Make sure it says non-medical, because if you don't, they're going to want a physical exam, and it's going to be a long. You'll notice the application is like 3 times as long. So, yeah.
Yeah. So on the quote, or if you use your term, make sure you select under rating class, switch it from medical to non-medical, and then be aware that certain ages can get certain face amounts. So up to a certain age, they can get X amount. Is the limit 400,000 the max for any age?
It's 250,000 for 55 and up
Okay.
is the max.
250,000 for 55 and up. Below that, I think is 400,000.
Correct.
So that's something, that's another option that's in the same category as what we're talking about. If you want to be competitive and they're really, really healthy. Kim, did you have a question or comment on that?
She's just
Kim
making
Glass?
Yeah, it was just a basic difference then. So the Safe Care, both of those are AmAms, but the Safe Care term, you would go to that if they were like really like super healthy, and then maybe Easy Term if you're looking for competitive pricing.
Yeah. Yeah. If they're super healthy, like nothing, Safe Care term can be an option because you can select that preferred box and it gives them a better rating.
Okay.
And then Easy Term is like the same rating as like it's standard rating basically. So it's the same as like most of the other products that we use in toolkits, but it's a little bit cheaper price, but you do take a pretty significant pay cut on your commission. So you just have to be aware of that.
Yeah, and keep in mind too, 10-year terms pay less off across every carrier.
Yeah.
Sometimes the difference between 10 and 15 years is like pennies. So you can always upsell your client a couple pennies and say, hey, you get an extra 5 years out of this, and you get your commission. Your term, non-medical, is actually full commission past 15 years.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's competitive, and that's again, it's a win for you and the client and the agent. Lake, do you mind running a quote for 250,000 50-year-old
Just did.
30-year term?
I did while you were looking at it to see if it was competitive. It's not as competitive as Safe Care. It was about $230 a month.
Okay, so 230. So yeah, so it's just something you have all these options in your arsenal, and then you can decide what's best for the client based on the scenario and the situation. But you want to know, eventually you want to know all the tools that you have in your tool belt. Now, real quickly, this is one I'm more familiar with, and it's going to be similar to your term. I think it's probably going to be a little bit more, a little bit more competitive, and it's with Transamerica, and it's called a Trendsetter Term. So this product is good. Again, this is one you want to keep in your back pocket because if anything pops up in underwriting, they can request doctor's records, and they'll just request it from the client, and then you're giving the insurance carrier more info than sometimes you want to. So you want to make sure you really vet the client with their health and make sure there's nothing that'll pop up or that you'll know what will pop up. And then, but this is a good product that's very competitively priced. And also it is, you can get higher face amounts. So if their age is 46 to 55, they can get up to $1 million of term insurance. And if they're 18 to 44, they can get up to $2 million of insurance on non-medical, no paramedic exam, and they'll just request doctor's records if there's gray area. But if it's really clean bill of health and everything checks out and you can answer all the health questions no, then they won't even request doctor's records, and you can get your client higher face amounts for a competitive price. So,
Hey, Josh.
yeah.
One thing is it's not non-medical, it's no exam. There's a little bit of difference for the newbies. We're used to calling it non-med, but if they see something, there's still a risk here. If they see something they don't like, they can ask, they hold the right to ask for a paramed.
Right. So it's non-medical accelerated underwriting. Remember there's simplified issue. We call that non-med a lot of times. And then this would be accelerated underwriting. It's also considered non-med, but it's accelerated, which means they can dig deeper if they want to, either requesting records or requesting a paramed. I've mostly seen if something pops up, I've written this product quite a bit, like when it's appropriate, and I've mostly seen them if anything, they'll request an APS from the doctor to get clarity. But they do reserve the right to request that paramed, and so you want to watch out. And so like I'll use this I'll use this product if I come across a client that maybe already has one of our products that the agent picked the best simplified issue product, and now I have to try to be more competitive than that. Or they're talking to a lot of people, or they've already got a quote from their current, insurance person at State Farm, or somebody that's already quoting them fully underwritten. Like I had one guy, he was going to go fully underwritten, and this is basically fully underwritten rates without having to do the paramed exam, assuming they fit within the parameters. And they can get super preferred rating, standard plus, or standard. So I'm still sharing my screen. So like I had a 53-year-old, was he 53? I'll check. 53-year-old, and I had to be competitive as an AWL lead, and he wanted 20 years of term. Let me look him up real quick, his age. EARO. This guy, my emails are a mess. I get so many emails. It's crazy.
Hey, while you're doing that, Josh, Deidre Hughes had a question we missed. She was asking if SafeCare was simplified issue.
SafeCare is simplified issue, yes. If you click that preferred box, they have a stricter criteria. So like as far as like blood pressure, like have they been, their height and weight. So if you look at the agent guide, this isn't going to be in toolkits. You have to look at the agent guide, which you can download from their website or call their sales desk and have them email to you. And it'll show you what that preferred rating criteria is, but it is simplified issue. 4/29/1970, 4/29/1970, 54 years old. And he, okay. And this guy wanted it was $500,000. So $500,000 of coverage is what he wanted. He wanted a higher face amount. He was shopping around with multiple people, and he was already planning on going fully underwritten with another client. $503. I could get it based on his height and weight, very healthy, but a little heavy. So he couldn't get preferred, super preferred, or preferred, just a little bit over what they wanted. So he could get standard plus rating. So I got him $500,000 for 21 divided by 12, $176 a month. And he got approved within I think it was the next day, which is pretty crazy. On the accelerated underwriting, he got approved the next day. But I vetted him very quickly, and I told him, hey, this company, Transamerica, they used to make you do a paramed exam, but they're still giving those rates without requiring that as long as you're healthy. And so I vetted him. He was healthy. We wrote up the app. And as you can see, that's a significant savings that I got him for $500,000 of coverage. So again, have I sold a 54-year-old $500,000 for a price like this before? Yes, I have. But with this guy, it made sense based on what I was dealing with, based on the circumstances, based on that he's already talking to other agents. He's committed to getting the best rate possible, and he doesn't care about, he's not worried about simplified issue versus non-medical, which I always try to steer them that way. But if I can't, I've got a product where I can beat the other people that he's talking to. So again, it's like now here's the pitfalls. I've seen agents where I showed them this, and now they try to quote it for anybody and everybody. And now they're writing it for people they shouldn't be writing it. People are getting declined. They're not getting paid. And now they're almost like taking themselves out of the industry because they wanted to be competitive, but they're not being smart. And you got to be smart as well. So don't be that agent that gets tempted by the low cost on this product because it's so much cheaper, but you're trying to squeeze people into it. And you're not doing a good job of underwriting. People are getting declined, or it's a longer underwriting process because it can take a little while. And then there's also once that does get approved, a lot of times they don't draft the premium when they're supposed to. So you have to call in and make sure they draft it. So there's a few more moving parts to this And so you just have to be aware that I'm trying to avoid you frustration. And by, telling you like, this isn't your go-to product. This is not your go-to product. We simplified issue first. Then if we have to, we can pivot to something like this or something like American Amicable or something like Forrester's Your Term. Also be aware with American Amicable, Safe Care Term and Easy Term. I know for Easy Term, it doesn't have the critical illness rider included. That has to be added for an additional cost. So just be aware of that. If you're positioning to the client, make sure you're not selling them on a critical illness rider when they're not getting that. Safe Care Term, unless somebody knows, you'll want to look at the agent guide because I'm not sure off the top of my head. Lake.
Yeah. Just wanted to stay on that real quick. So not only does it take the client longer, but the longer you leave it to the client, the less likely it's going to go through. I've seen it where, people will do a fully underwritten product. It takes on average 45 to 60 days to get approved. We can do it instantly. And a lot of agents are wondering, like, why wouldn't I just do, $1 million for $176 a month when it's going to cost me $600 through Foresters? Well, if that client gets denied from that fully underwritten, they're going to be so mad at you because guess what? They are blacklisted for 10 years from applying for any insurance. That's the risk here. So we use it for high net worth individuals who are going to do this, or we have to be extremely competitive and we might as well be the last agent. But if you have any doubts, talk to your upline first. We're going to direct you in that direction. And you don't want to be waiting 90 days for your pay either. So, Josh, have you ever gotten the black hole of fully underwritten, which is the doctor's note or the physician statement? It'll go to the doctor, and the doctor's so busy, they'll never fill out this one form to write off that they have good health. The guy can't get a hold of his doctor, you can't get a hold of his doctor, and then the policy ends up lapsing because it takes too long for them to approve it. So a lot of risk there, and the pay isn't as rewarding.
So yeah, you really want to get like, I didn't write this product for like a long time. Like I got really good at simplified issue. I got good at underwriting. I got good at understanding, the underwriting process on that. And then I came across a client, and that's what Aaron was like, yeah, you can actually get like a client that really wanted a high face amount. Aaron was like, we have this product, and I wrote it. And, I use it sparingly. I use it. It's not my go-to product, but you keep it in your arsenal because every once in a while you'll need something like this that's really competitive. It makes sense for the client. If maybe you have a warm market client where they're not withholding information, maybe a friend or family, and they're not withholding information from you, they're going to stick with you through that sales process. If there's some bumps in the road, then this is a product you could utilize maybe on yourself. I wrote $900,000 of Trendsetter on myself, and there's two products with it. Oh, well, this is another important note on this. And I think this is brand new, but I just wrote this product today for a client because he was talking to a guy from AIG. He was talking to a guy from here and there, and I had to be competitive. And so I wrote it, but I filled out the application. It does ask about family health history, so it's a little bit more involved. They ask a few more lifestyle questions. They ask a few more family history. Has any of your family have a history of diabetes, heart disease, XYZ issues? But when I wrote it, it sends him the medical questions at the end for the signature, and he has to answer them. And that's another added like risk factor because these clients they'll incriminate themselves over something they maybe shouldn't incriminate themselves over. And they'll think they need to mention something that maybe they shouldn't mention. And so that's another thing. If you do this product, stay with them on the phone, have them fill out the medical questions with you and just say, hey, if anything is confusing or if you feel like you have to say yes to anything, let me know. And that way you're with them through that process so they don't say something they shouldn't say. Because it's not that we want to lie to insurance carriers or, lie on applications, but we never want to tell more than is necessary. And we don't want to tell them things, you know what I mean? So, and clients don't really understand that. And so you want to make sure they're not incriminating themselves over something they shouldn't incriminate themselves over. It's like,
have you ever smoked pot? Well, no, but I was at a party and I got some secondhand, so I should probably say yes to this. You know what I mean? Like something not like that's a funny example, but like it's something like that. I've seen people do that. So so just be aware, just be careful with that. Jared, did you have a comment? Lightford? Okay, I thought
Yeah,
I
buddy,
saw.
I'm here.
Yeah,
No, I was going to say the exact same thing. It gives you the option to send it over to them to fill out. Never, ever in a million years let them do that.
so does it give you the option now? Because I didn't see the option. Maybe I missed it.
Yeah, no. Well, with Trendsetter, it does. So Trendsetter does give you the option to have them fill out information. Do not let them do it.
So I know it was like that, but I'm not sure if they changed that or if I either missed it or they might have just changed that because I was
They
looking.
might have, yeah, they might have changed it. It also might be certain age, certain dollar
Yeah.
amount. I don't know.
Maybe state or something, but we
Yeah.
can get clarity on that, and that's something we need to get clarity on. But if you do have the option, don't do it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, rule of thumb: do never ever leave something to the client that you can do.
Right. And same thing with the electronic signature. Stay on the phone with them. I mean, obviously don't do the electronic signature for them, but stay on the phone with them until they do it. Otherwise,
Correct.
You're leaving too much up to chance and clients will take longer than you want them to. So there's Trendsetter Super and there's Trendsetter LB. It's really easy. LB stands for living benefits. So it's even more competitive rate if they don't do the living benefits. I've had clients say, I don't care about terminal, critical, and chronic illness. I just want the cheapest rate, and they're already competing. Then you could do a product like the Super, no living benefits. This guy, that is one of the reasons there was a price difference. He did not care about living benefits. So that is another reason why there was a price difference between that Foresters product and mine. He didn't have living benefits on that 500,000 for 176. So
Does SafeCare come with living benefits?
what's that?
Does SafeCare MM come with living benefits?
It does have the term. I know for sure it has the terminal and chronic. I need to see if it has the critical. In fact, let me see if I've got the agent guide handy. I do have the agent guide. Let me see real quick on the agent guide.
One of the first leads that I called Josh actually was a 27-year-old mom who had just went through fully underwritten with State Farm. And she's like, hey, can you help me? I got denied insurance. And I said, well, did you take a medical exam? She said, yes. They found out my kidneys weren't working at 100%, but my doctor said that some people's just don't work at 100% and it's totally okay. But I couldn't even get her simplified issue. She's going to live a long, happy, normal life, but now she can't get insurance because of that reason.
Exactly. So again, guys, it's like you guys are maybe confused saying like, well, should we do this or shouldn't we? Like, I think we've made the case pretty clear. Like this is something you keep in your back pocket and you use when needed and you rely on your upline to help you when that scenario is. And as you become like that tier 3 agent, that's when you'll start to know how to use your own judgment with different clients and stuff. But just in the meantime, trust us, trust your upline. We're not trying to restrict you in any way. We want you to find the best product. We're just trying to make sure you avoid pitfalls and landmines that we've blown our legs off from before. So we're trying to help you. So, all right, it's 8:37. We'll call it a wrap. Maybe one or two questions from anybody. Any questions or comments? Let's see.
I had a quick question.
Yeah.
I'm Sean Bennett. I'm direct with to Jared and Danielle. And I was just curious, Lake had mentioned one of his clients that had gotten blacklisted for 10 years. If they get denied on an instant approval, are they getting blacklisted, or in what cases does that actually happen?
Well, so it depends on what the reason was. Like if they do get a decline, even on simplified issue, like it's not as bad as fully underwritten, but it just depends on what it was. Like if you answer yes to the multiple sclerosis question and you think that you didn't realize that was going to be a knockout for term and you said yes, you essentially like you never want a client to get declined because of something you could have avoided. So if you have to say yes to a health question, and this is kind of getting off to a different topic, underwriting, but that's fine. This is important. If you have to say yes to a health question and you're a newer agent, make sure you throw that in, you pause ask your upline or your agent mentor, hey, I'm having to say, the client said yes, maybe someone didn't come up until you're in the application. Is this going to be a problem? Sometimes a yes answer on a health question is a problem. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's however those follow-up questions that it populates is will determine whether that's an issue. But it, like if you said let's say you accidentally said yes to the client's a smoker, but they weren't a smoker, that's going on to their MIB report. So now if they try to get insurance, the next year, the insurance carrier or 6 months later, the carrier is going to be like, well, this guy's a tobacco user. We have it on the MIB report. So that's why you want to make sure you're being careful on the app and you're not incriminating your client. And but like sometimes a decline for one carrier might not be a declinable reason for another carrier. So it doesn't mean they're necessarily going to get blacklisted. Maybe this carrier final expense cares about asthma, but this one doesn't. So they got declined for asthma with X carrier, but Y carrier doesn't care. So they're not going to decline them because they got declined with that carrier. It just depends on what the issue is. Jared, did you have something to add to that?
Yeah, I wanted to jump in here real quick, specifically with foresters. 99% of the time, except when like tobacco, like what Josh was just referencing, when you apply for a non-medical, our core stuff that we use, and it comes back declined, it's not a blacklist. It's what it is it's an invitation to apply for fully underwritten. And when you call in to Foresters and to see why your strong foundation got declined, they will tell you, oh, but you can apply for a fully underwritten policy. No, that is not what we do. I just clarify that right now. When you get a decline, that doesn't mean you want to go fully underwritten. Go back to your upline and figure out what the next best course is. But I just wanted to throw that in there too, since we're talking about this, Josh.
No, that's a good point. Foresters, well, you say any medical issue, Linda and underwriting will tell you to go fully underwritten, but they don't understand our system and they don't really understand underwriting as good as we do, to be honest. So that's a good point to make there. I saw was it Cody that raised their hand or had a question? Or Carol, excuse me, Carol Beatty.
Oh, yes. Hi. Thank you
Hey.
so much. I'm sorry, my child is going to sleep, so I'm in the dark. But what suggestion do you have, especially for a newbie, for getting to learn how to underwrite?
Yeah, that's so for underwriting, who's your direct upline, Carol?
Diane.
Okay.
Diane. Mhm.
Yeah, so get with her as far as learning the basics. I know for my agents, I have like an underwriting video. If Diane wants that, I can make it available. She might have something available for like understanding the basics of underwriting. But
Okay.
really, like if you're a brand new agent, you want to find the client. And do you know like the basics as far as what medical questions to ask on that initial phone conversation yet? I don't know where
Yes.
your process. Okay.
That is built into our script.
Perfect. So make sure you get that info. You throw it in your upline thread and let Diane guide you. She knows what she's doing, so let her guide you as far as
Absolutely.
getting started. And then some of it will come over time, but you have insurance toolkits, you've got your
Mhm.
upline, and then you also have risk assessments that you can do, calling carriers and asking them. And then we don't use them so much anymore because toolkits pretty much does it for us, but you also have agent
Mhm.
guides for different products that you can really dig into those agent guides and start learning some of the ins and outs. I used to read agent guides before I went to bed. So that shows you how psychotic I was when I started. But yeah, it's you got a lot of tools to help you, but really like your upline will kind of teach you along the way, but don't feel like you have to understand everything to get started.
Gotcha.
Get started, learn while you're in motion, earn while you learn, and
Gotcha.
let your upline fill in those gaps for you. But between all those,
Thanks, Josh.
you'll learn. Yeah, no problem. One more question if somebody has it, and then we'll call it a wrap here.
Yes, my name is Libby and I'm direct to Kim. I'm
Yeah.
direct to Aaron. One quick question. Am I allowed to write one? And I'm sure I probably would go to my upline first. It probably wouldn't matter, but am I allowed to write one with living benefits if I don't have my health license?
Yeah, the living benefits are automatically included, and that falls under the life license. So the terminal, critical, and chronic illness riders, that you're fine with just the life license to write that.
It's just there's like the heart attack and cancer policy with CVS. You would have to have your health license for that. In dental, you'd have to have health, and then accidental death standalone policy, you'd have to have health license. All right. Anything else, guys?
No, thank you. That was beautiful and very helpful. I'm also
Yeah.
brand new agent, so little nerves here going on, but I love this. This was really helpful.
Hey, yeah, thank you. Yeah, appreciate it. Well, if you know that I was nervous when I got started, I wish I had some recordings of my first calls. I was a mess. I had no idea what I was doing, no idea what was going on, but you'll be amazed if you really plug into training calls and you really the best way to learn fast is to put in the work and put in the dials and stumble and make as many mistakes as you possibly can as fast as you can, and realize it's not the end of the world. We all make mistakes, and that's how we learn and that's how we grow, and that's why you have uplines to help you along the way. So
yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Good luck to you. All right, guys. Hey, have a great night. Let's make it a great week. And was there Leamon, did you have something real quick to say? Sorry, I messed your name up.
No, I was just gonna say thank you. That's all.
Yeah, no problem. How do you say your name?
It's Lehman.
See, that makes sense. I don't know why. No, thank you guys for hopping on. Have a great night.
Thanks, Josh.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Josh.
no problem.
Take care.
All right, guys.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Josh.
Thank you.
No problem.